Hey, and welcome to Unlearning Stress, the podcast where we break the rules and cycles that keep you overcommitted, overstretched, and just plain exhausted, and replace them with something better. No fluff, no guilt, just real talk, real solutions, and expert insights to help you shift the way you live. Whether you're here for the first time or you've been with me for a while, you're in the right place. I'm Mischelle O'Neal, your resident emotional wellness coach, and I'm here to help you unlearn the patterns that are wearing you down so you can live with more ease, clarity, and control. Let's get to it. Have you ever told yourself that next time I'll catch it, next time I won't do that, next time I'll be more aware and I'll stop myself before the time? And when that time comes, you don't. I mean, you just get sucked in. I mean, you really mean it. You really mean to do whatever or to not do whatever, not to get sucked in, not to do that project because someone asked you at last minute or any of that. You really intend to say no. But somehow you got sucked right back in. And we all do it. So don't think you're the only one. I totally get it. And it still happens to me sometimes. I'm not perfect, even though you may think so. No, I'm just kidding. So, but the thing is, life gets calm sometimes. Every once in a while, it gets calm, and you're thinking, wow, I can handle this. I've been able to do this. I've been able to regulate and have more balance. I've been able to slow down, and you're thinking, oh, I got this. And then a text comes or a call comes, or somebody gives you this request, and it's somebody that you really care about, or it's something you really have an answer for, and all that, and before you know it, you're in it again, right there, doing the thing that you promised yourself that you wouldn't do again. I'm not going to let them do that to me again. I'm not going to let me do that to me again. And you're there. And you stop and you think, how did I end up here again? How did I do this again? How did this happen to me again? And you're frustrated. You're frustrated with yourself. You can't believe this. I can't believe that I gave into that I didn't see this coming, that I got railroaded again. And so you're a little angry at yourself for getting sucked in, but you know what? You're also angry at them because you're like, how did you have the audacity? Why would you even do that to me again? I told you last time, don't wait till the last moment. I told you last time, this is your responsibility. I showed you how to do it and everything. And so you're angry at them and you're angry at yourself because you want to help. And the thing is, you're a person of honor. And if you told someone, I'm going to be there, or don't worry, I'm always there for you, or if you've committed to something, even though now you know that you can't or you don't want to do it, if you say, yes, I'll do it, and now you know that you really don't want to do it, and you could always go back and say, no, you know what, I decided that I'm not going to take that on. But you're not going to do that, and I'm going to tell you why. Most likely we don't do that, and it's because we're people of honor. We really hold true to the integrity of who we are, and how we respond and act to others, just like we would want them to respond and act to us. Our integrity is strong, and our honor and our truth telling is so strong within us. And so when you say yes, that saying, let your yes be your yes and let your no be your no, and you hold that true. And so you feel like, I said yes, so I've got to follow through. I've got to finish it. I've got to do what I said I was going to do. And so you don't walk away because you don't believe in leaving your peeps hanging. You're not going to do that. But that kind of follow through costs you your peace. And you know what? A lot of times we do that with major decisions in our lives, that we stick to something because we said we're going to do it, even though we know in our guts is wrong for us or we shouldn't do it. And that's another subject later, but I'm telling you, there are times when we know we shouldn't do something, even though we say yes, and it's okay to go back and say, you know what? I really had every intention of following through with this. I had every intention of doing this. But in my heart of hearts, it's not right. And I couldn't live with myself. Or I wouldn't feel right if I did this. And you know, they would respect you because you had the honesty and the integrity to come back and say something instead of ghosting them or leaving them hanging. We have way more respect for someone when they come back, and even if they change their minds, that they have the guts and the audacity, well, not the audacity, but the guts to tell us and to be honest. And so it's not a weakness that you're doing when you fall back into these things, when you find yourself saying yes when you want to say no, when you find yourself stepping in when you know you should pull back. It's not a weakness. What it is it's a habit. It's a pattern that you've learned over time. And I always say, how many years did it take you to develop that habit? And why do you think that it's just going to go away overnight? Because it's not. You've been trained to react this way for years. And what's practiced repeats itself. My favorite, stop, drop, and roll. You practice that for years as a kid so that you instantly come back to it when you need it. And that same practice and coming back to something also happens to the not so good things. And so we've learned them over time. And what's learned, the beauty is, the greatness is that what's learned can be unlearned. So my question is, where do you usually recognize this? Where you already said yes and you're halfway in and you catch yourself thinking, oh, here I go again. When does that show up for you? When does that happen in your life that you find yourself in those situations? Because awareness and alignment means nothing, absolutely nothing, if the reflex still runs the show. If that bad pattern, if that undesired is not necessarily bad, but that undesired pattern is still running that show, your awareness and your knowing what works for you for alignment and where you want to be and who you want to be doesn't, it means absolutely nothing. And this week isn't about doing more. It's about learning to pause before you get pulled in. We want to stop it before it happens. So I want to talk about the pause. I know you always hear me talking about the pause, and I want to talk about it, but what it really means is what we want to talk about. But not only that, how it becomes our action. So, have you ever told yourself, okay, stop, just stop? I use this a lot. I have to tell myself, girl, stop, come on now. And I do it all the time. And I stop moving. I mean, physically make myself stop moving, just stop. Stop thinking, stop fixing, right? And I just stop. And you're like, you talk to yourself like that? Oh, yeah. We talk about pause like it's this soft, easy thing. Like there's this easy button and you can just touch it. It's got a little pause button. You can just touch it and you're okay. But if you've been in the go mode most of your life, do, go, fix. If you've been there most of your life, pausing can feel like work. That becomes the real work, not fixing. Your reflex is to automatically go there. But making yourself stop, that's the work. The body is already in motion and you're halfway out that starting block. And that's what it makes me think of is you're in this race and you're at the gate and your foot's on that starting block and you're almost ready to go, but I'm saying stop. It's a false stop. It's a false go, I mean. And so I need you to stop because your mind is sprinting, making lists, solving problems, trying to fix the races that haven't even started yet. Because that's who we are. And so then you have to say, girl, focus. Just stop and focus. Because the pause is the moment you catch that sprint and bring everything back into view. Where you can see the finish line now. And it's not just a blur in the far distance. It's like sitting in a room with let me give you something more tangible. It's like sitting in a room. Have you ever sat in a room and your eyes were just half closed, trying to blur out what's around you, and so you can just be there, and then everything is blurry. And then as you start to open them slowly, things come back into focus. You breathe, your thoughts slow down, your body gets the message. We're not in danger. We're just deciding. That's what the pause does for you. You think pausing, or we think pausing means freezing for a second. You know, Mother May I, or what is the other one? 1, 2, 3, green light. And it reminds you're waiting, you're tense. And then the leader says, 1, 2, 3, green light. And you have to stop. That's what I want you to do. You think it's doing nothing. I'm not telling you to do nothing. Because pausing is actually active. It's what resets your brain and your body before you move again. That's all we're trying to do. If you skip it, if you don't take that pause, what you're doing is you're steadily reacting. And if you use it, if you don't pause, you react. But if you do pause, what you find yourself doing is actually responding and not reacting. And when you stop yourself, what do you notice first? Or my first question is, have you ever stopped yourself? And if you have, what do you notice first? Is it your breathing, your body, or your thoughts? What happens for you? Does your breathing slow? Does your body physically stop or untense? Or do your thoughts suddenly slow down? Do you finally become very present in what's going on? Because the pause is where your clarity lives. It's where your nervous system catches up to your spirit. You can't think clearly if your body's still running. You ever tried thinking and running at the same time? Even on a treadmill. The pause lets everything line up again. Otherwise, you're like Horses at a race. Why am I in this race thing? But it's like horses in a race where one moves up and the other one moves up and there's no real alignment. And your nervous system needs that alignment. So when you pause, you switch your body from high alert to calm. Your brain starts to get the oxygen that it needs because you're no longer holding your breath and your heart slows down and you're thinking clear. That's not lazy. That, my friend, is leadership. That's true leadership when you're at the top of your game. So before you answer that text next time, before you say yes again, take that pause. I'm not saying 3 minutes, 2 minutes, just take that pause and let your eyes focus. Let your body get a breath and suck in that oxygen and then decide. Then decide whether your yes is your yes or your no is your no. And that's when I say pause is actually the action that you need to take. It's not about stopping life, it's about taking charge of it. Now, let's talk about. I get so excited that I want to stay in one spot sometimes, but I want to talk about what happens next. We know that pause is action, and it's the action that we need to take. But what happens next? How do you start using that pause to manage yourself before you manage the day? Right? I want to talk about what it looks like to take action with yourself first. We can't change nobody else, but we can change how we think, what we do, and how we feel. And so before we manage anybody else's needs, we've got to know what's really going on inside ourselves. And the big thing is to be 100% honest with yourself. And it's a practice most of us don't like doing. And you ask yourself, do I really want to do this? Just pause long enough to say, do I really want to do this? And if your reaction is yes, sure, I want to do it. Why? Ask yourself why. What's behind that yes? Is that yes because I want to help them? Yes because I don't want to disappoint them? Or yes because I really want to do this for her or him or whoever? I really think I have something that I could contribute that would help them grow or help them get better at this. Yeah, I do want to do this. Or ask yourself, am I doing it because I want to or because I feel I should? Guilt usually shows up first. Let's be honest. Man, they're counting on me. I don't have no reason that I really shouldn't do it. I should help her. Or I know I can do it faster, right? The question starts, why not? Why shouldn't I do it? What's it going to cost me? Oh, just a little time, your greatest commodity. Maybe I can just squeeze it in and just do it and just finagle some things and finagle sometimes, and you wrestle with it because you're used to stepping in. But sometimes the real truth is it's not your responsibility. It's not your thing to fix this time. So think, if I step in, what are they missing? What am I keeping them from learning? What growth am I stumping? What am I teaching myself about the boundaries or my boundaries or how important I am if I keep saying yes when I want to say no? What's one thing, my question, What's one thing that you said yes to this week that you knew deep down you didn't want to, that you really didn't want to do it? And I'm sure all of us can think of at least one thing. I know I can. Again, we're not perfect, but we can get better at it. And I don't want you to answer right away. And I'm looking, but simple phrases that you can use is when someone asks you to do something, you can say something simply like, let me check and let me get back with you. You're not saying no, but you're not saying yes. You're giving yourself time to reflect and to breathe. Let me get back to you. Or what about, I'm not in the position right now to make that decision. What does that mean? It means I'm not in the headspace right now. It means I need to think about it. It means I need to look at my calendar, whatever it is. You're not in the position right now to make that decision. One, because you know how you feel or you know something that's going on, but that's an honest answer. And that's how you stop the reflex to automatically answer right away. You give yourself room to actually think. And when you delay the answer, you give yourself a sense of peace that you weren't sucked in. You haven't said no, so there's no guilt. And you haven't said yes, so there's no resentment. You've given yourself a pause to access the honesty. And peace doesn't come from saying yes or no, it comes from giving yourself the space to choose. Oh my gosh. Choice is the space for you to make the decisions that's best for you. And when you finally decide, it's not pressure. It's a choice that you willingly, openly made because you wanted to. And once you learn how to manage yourself like this, how to pause before you speak, you can start doing it with others too. Because that's where it really gets tested with others. So let's talk about what happens when somebody else's energy, and this happens all the time, pulls you in. It could be a text, a phone call, somebody standing right in front of you in a meeting and put you in a position that you don't want to be in. And before you know it, you're off to the races again. You're already sucked in. You've already said yes. And the first thing isn't pressure that you feel. I'm going to tell you, at least for me, it's anxiety. It's that I've got to make a decision. Oh no, oh no, oh no. It's that being at the block before the race starts, that tension. You feel it in your body and you're ready to jump. You want to help. You want to fix. Your mind's already halfway into their problem before you even decide if it's yours. You're trying to decide, okay, can I? What if? Those what ifs aren't yours. With my daughter, I used to pick up the phone every time she called. Right away. I was at her beck and call. She'd be in the store asking how to cook something or what to buy. They weren't emergency things. It's just she wanted to ask mom something. And I conditioned her to believe that every time she called, I'm going to pick up right away. And if I didn't, she'd keep blowing my phone up. Mom, where are you? What's up? Answer. And it wasn't, I'm like, what's up? I'm in a store and I'm almost at the checkout line and I need to know it's not an emergency. Now, if I don't answer, most times she cooking, she figures it out. And when I call her later, she's so proud of herself. Guess what I did? I didn't have this, but I substituted it with this. And I realized she never really needed me like that. And I gave her the opportunity to grow. Most time when you pause, you see that they're more capable than you think, and you're less needed than you thought. That's not rejection. That's relief. Who's that person for you? Who's the one who calls, texts, or leans on you first? What happens if you didn't answer? What happens to you when their name shows up? What I want to do before we leave is I want to practice. And I want you to learn to practice unavailability. You don't have to answer every call or respond right away. We really don't. Turn away, change rooms, step outside, whatever keeps you from jumping in too fast. Do that. Sometimes I literally have to turn my back so I can't see it, whether it's my phone, my computer, walk out of the room if I need to think. Because if I see it, I'll start fixing it. And when you give them space, when you give them a chance to grow, you also give yourself the gift of realizing you don't have to carry it all. You don't have to hold it all. Peace doesn't always come from doing more, not at all. Sometimes it comes from showing up first. Your unavailability is not neglect, it's protection. So, like I said, I want to end up with something that you can actually practice. I can't let you go away without walking you through something that helps your body remember you don't have to stay on call all the time. So, I want to close with something simple that you can do when you feel that pull, that heat, that jump in reflex starting. This is the part most of us skip. We think, I know I should pause. How many times have I told you pause, right? But we don't know how. And I want to take the time to show you how. And the best way to pause is to do something physical. For me, that is the only way. When your body is already revved up, your mind won't listen to words. You've got to move. That might look different depending on where you are, but the goal is always distance in some shape or form. So at work, it can be step away from your desk, walk to the restroom, open a drawer, or turn to face the window just for a second. At home, it could be walking into another room or get a glass of water and just take a sip. Fold a towel that was sitting there on the counter or on the bed or in the bathroom. Anything that breaks the loop. When someone's right in front of you, look down and count quietly under your breath, then look back up. Right? That small action gives your brain time to cool down and your body time to catch up. The heat drops a notch. The nervous system actually gets to reset and your thoughts come back online. It's like walking the aisles in Costco. The longer you move through, the clearer your choices become. Here's an example. The other day I went into Costco and right there in the front was this beautiful velour jogging set. And so the first thing I did is I picked it up and I put it in my cart. And as we're walking through and picking up things, I keep feeling the material of the jogging suit. And I look at the color and I look at it and I'm like, first question, do I really need this? Second, I'm not sure the material is thick enough. It feels kind of flimsy and thin. And I'm not sure, do I really want this? And so walking through the store, I ask myself these questions. And by the time that I reached checkout, I realized I didn't really need it or want it. And so as I passed by that same area again, I put it back. That's what the pause does for you. It gives you time to come back to a sense of peace and that space to take that breath. You know, I always say that when you make a big decision in your life, that you need to apply that overnight rule where you go and you sleep on it before you give that yes or make that big decision. And we may think these things that I'm talking about aren't big decisions, but your time and how you utilize it is some of the biggest, best decisions you can make. So what's one place in your life right now where you could walk the aisle a little longer before you decide? Very few things in our lives need instant attention. And if you can give yourself even a few extra moments, you'll almost always make a better choice. That's how you practice the pause. You move your breath. You move, you breathe, you wait. You move, you breathe, you wait. And the next right action shows itself. This week isn't about starting something new. It's about doing what you already know. Slower, steadier, and with more peace. Remember, most of what feels urgent is not. The pause is your protection, and your power sits right inside it. I hope that somehow you have grasped and held on to the power of the pause. And that you have examples that you can walk away with and practice right after we get off this live and have this conversation. And I can't wait to talk to you next time. You'll catch me here most Thursdays at noon. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye. If this episode hits home, don't just push it aside. Lean into it. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And connect with me on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Substack, where we go even deeper. Links will be in the comments. And if you're ready to start unlearning the patterns that keep you stuck, keep listening, because real change happens one choice at a time. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.